Live from KTV in Reno, you're watching 2 News at 6:30.
I started getting hyper, and I saw my heart started beating fast, and I started sweating. I said, something's wrong here.
Rodney Morgan came up to Reno to get care at the VA hospital, but while he was settling in, all of his belongings went missing. And that is our 2 News big story at 6:30. So when Morgan came up to Reno from Sacramento, he went to the Volunteers of America Homeless Shelter on Record Street, and that's where the story really picks up. I'm Kristen Remington.
I'm Landon Miller. Morgan needed a place to put his things while he checked in with the VA hospital and found a place to live. And when they went to pick him up Monday morning, those things were nowhere to be found. Brandon Foose joins us live in the newsroom with more. And Brandon, how does something like this happen?
Well, Landon, no one really knows where the bag is. It might have just been tossed, or it could have been stolen. Morgan says he couldn't sleep much at all last night, thinking about all the pictures he lost that were near and dear to his heart.
I used to look at that stuff when I get, a little down. It brings me up. It kept me up. My brother's letter that he had given me before he died, all that stuff. It kept me, it kept me on my P's and Q's. Because I could remember what they were saying, remember what they looked like.
Morgan says his father was an amateur photographer, so many of his hundreds of pictures came from him, even if they weren't of him. He also had medals from the Department of Defense that he'll likely never see again. Morgan says he also lost his service records, which means his social security number is out there somewhere. But he's also a little concerned about his medical records, too.
Those are hard to get. If something happens, I have to put in a claim, then I have to start fighting all over again to try to get a claim increase. I don't have no proof of anything.
Now, we reached out to the VOA and are waiting to hear back from them. Morgan told me a manager with the VOA called him this morning and they're going to sit down for coffee soon. Morgan doesn't want anyone fired, but hopes the person responsible thinks more about how serious possessions can be. You'll hear even more from Morgan coming up on 2 News at 11. Covering the story in the newsroom, Brandon Foose, 2 News.
Brandon,